Have you ever wondered why some people seem to carry a kind of ancient weight in their eyes, a depth that speaks of agony, yet also of eternity? I'm not talking about people who are merely sad, or those who've been through hard times. No, I'm talking about something far rarer. I'm speaking of the dark, chosen ones. They exist in silence, in shadows, in alleys of the world unseen by the ordinary eye. They do not seek the light, nor do they run from it. They carry something sacred and dangerous within them. And you, yes, you might be one of them. There are 7 types of these beings. And each type has a sacred calling that is not given, it's earned. It's carved into their soul by pain, by fire, by loss, and by the kind of spiritual chaos that would shatter a normal person. But these ones, they survive. No, more than survive, they are transformed. And the first type we must speak of are those who are broken open by fire. These are the ones whose lives were shattered so completely, they had no choice but to become something else entirely. You know the ones I'm talking about. Maybe it's you. The type who faced betrayal so deep, it rewrote their DNA. A type who lost everything: home, love, health, sanity, and yet somehow they're still here. They walk among us with invisible scars, but they are not victims. They are initiates. The fire that burned them wasn't punishment, it was initiation. These are the people who are meant to die, spiritually or even physically, but they didn't. And in not dying, they became something more. If you are this kind, you were never meant to have a normal life. That's why jobs don't satisfy you. That's why relationships confuse you. That's why the world feels like it's moving in a different rhythm than your soul. Because it is. You were never meant to follow. You were meant to burn, and from that burning, to rise. But here's what they don't tell you. Rising doesn't mean escaping the darkness. It means integrating it. The dark, chosen ones are not here to avoid the shadows, they are here to master them. They are the ones who can sit in a room full of despair and hold space for it without flinching. They are the ones who can walk into a spiritual battlefield and not lose their clarity. Why? Because they've already fought the war inside. Let me ask you something. When was the moment you realized that your suffering wasn't random? That maybe, just maybe, it was sacred. That it was shaping you into something the world desperately needs, even if it doesn't yet recognize your value. That moment, that flash of clarity amidst pain, is the calling. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. But once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And that calling, it doesn't come with a map. It comes with burdens. It comes with a deep sense of separation, with a feeling that you don't belong, even among spiritual people. That's because your path isn't about escaping the world. It's about entering it fully armed with the wisdom that only darkness can teach. The first of the 7 types, the ones broken open by fire, are the alchemists. They are the ones who transmute pain into power, grief into clarity, chaos into art. Their sacred calling is to teach by being, not by preaching, but by embodying. People feel them before they understand them. They walk into a room and change its frequency. Not because they try, but because they are the living proof that darkness is not the enemy. But this path isn't easy. It's lonely. It's terrifying. And it often feels like betrayal. You'll ask yourself, why me? But the real question is, why not you? Who else could carry this? Who else could have survived what you did and still kept your heart intact, even if it's stitched together with silence and pain? You see, most people run from suffering. But the dark, chosen ones do something different. We turn toward it. We stare it in the eyes. We let it teach us. And in doing so, we become something terrifyingly beautiful. Not perfect, not pure, but real. And that's what the world is starving for: realness. Not more light, not more love, but truth. The kind of truth that only someone who's walked through hell can speak with authority. And here's the paradox. The more you accept your darkness, the more light you emit. Not because you're trying to shine, but because you're no longer resisting your depth. And depth is magnetic. It draws people in. It heals them. not by fixing them, but by reminding them that they too can survive the fire. So if your life has been a series of spiritual earthquakes, if you've lost things you thought you couldn't live without, if you've sat in silent rooms wondering if you'd ever feel joy again, you might be one of us. And if you are, then your pain isn't your punishment, it's your passport. It's the stamp that proves you've crossed into another realm of understanding. One that can't be taught in books or retreats. It has to be lived. But remember, being chosen doesn't make you superior. It makes you responsible. You're not here to escape the world. You're here to remake it. To bring medicine to a planet that's overdosed on fake positivity and spiritual bypassing. And your medicine? It comes from the very places you thought would destroy you. The ones broken open by fire are the foundation of the dark chosen. Without them, there is no path. They are the bridge between suffering and salvation. Their sacred calling is to feel everything and yet not be destroyed by feeling. To hurt deeply, but not become bitter. To walk through the ruins of their own soul and build cathedrals from the ashes. So I ask you now, what did your fire teach you? What sacred truth did you earn in your darkest hour that no one can ever take away from you? What if your sorrow was a doorway, and your whole life has been leading you to walk through it? If that question trembles something inside you, if it stirs a knowing you've buried for too long, then stay with me. Because we've only just begun. There are 6 more types, each one holding a mirror to a different kind of sacred pain, each one carrying a different form of spiritual power. And you may find yourself in more than one. But for now, sit with this. You are not broken. You are initiated. You are not lost. You are becoming. And the fire that tried to consume you was the fire that crowned you.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
There are those among us who do not speak much. They do not chase the spotlight, nor do they rush to correct others or prove themselves. They walk quietly, sometimes unnoticed, but when you feel their presence, the air changes. Something ancient stirs. Something vast and unknowable. These are the silent watchers, the second type of the dark chosen ones. They are the guardians of secrets and shadows, and their sacred calling is not to be seen, but to see. You know them by their eyes, not just their gaze, but the depth behind it. Eyes that have witnessed things others would not survive. Eyes that have seen through illusions, through masks, through the layers of falsehood that most people live inside. These souls were born with the ability to know without words. They sense the truth underneath the noise. They are the ones who are often called too quiet as children, too intense, too sensitive. But in truth, they were too awake for a world that thrives on sleep. These watchers are not here to lead in the traditional sense. They are not the ones standing on stages or writing books. They are the ones in the far back corners of the room, observing everything. Their power is in what they hold. They carry knowledge not from books, but from lifetimes of observation. They have seen the way energy moves, the way people lie to themselves, the way the world distracts itself from the void. And they have learned to sit with that void, not fear it, not fill it, just witness it. If you are one of them, you've probably spent your life wondering why you see things others don't. Why you pick up on unspoken pain, hidden desires, suppressed rage. Why you can walk into a room and feel everything before anyone says a word. It's not that you're psychic, it's that you're attuned. Your nervous system is wired like a satellite dish, scanning the invisible wavelengths of human experience. And while that can be overwhelming, it's also your gift. The silent watchers are the spiritual sentinels of this world. They hold the threads of wisdom that others overlook. They keep ancient truths alive simply by remembering them. They are the record keepers of the soul. But their burden is heavy, because to see all, to feel all and still remain silent is not easy. And yet, that is their path. To speak too soon is to break the spell. To act too quickly is to disrupt the sacred timing of things. So they wait, they watch. And when the time is right, they move with precision and power that shocks everyone who underestimated them. But let me ask you something. What secrets have you been guarding? What truths have you known but remained silent about? Because the world wasn't ready to hear them. And what has that silence cost you? There's a sacred weight to knowing too much. It isolates you. It makes you question your own sanity, but it also sets you apart for a reason. The Watchers are not here to belong. They are here to protect, to be the last line of spiritual integrity in a world that has sold its soul for comfort and convenience. You are not here to fix people. You are not here to save them. You are here to witness them fully in their raw truth, and in doing so, to hold a mirror so clear they are forced to see themselves. That is your medicine. That is your magic. And it is rare. But don't be fooled. Your silence does not mean you are passive. Quite the opposite. You are the storm that doesn't make noise until it strikes. You are the earthquake that rumbles beneath the surface, unnoticed until the foundation collapses. Your power is in your restraint. Your wisdom is in your timing. And your sacred role is to see what others cannot bear to look at and still choose compassion over judgment. You are one of the dark chosen. You are not broken, not strange. You are essential, and your silence, it is not absence, it is presence in its purest form. There is a sacred kind of suffering that does not destroy but initiates. It cracks the soul just enough for the light to leak in, not the blinding light of false hope, but the soft, steady glow of truth. The third type of dark chosen ones are the wounded healers. These are the souls who have bled in silence, who have sat alone in dark nights that stretched into weeks, months, even years. But instead of collapsing under the weight of their misery, they learned to transmute it. They turned their wounds into wisdom, their grief into guidance, their agony into alchemy. If you are one of them, then you know what it means to break. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. Each time a different part of you died. Maybe it was your innocence, your trust, your belief in the goodness of people. Maybe it was your sense of safety. And yet you're still here, not in spite of the pain, but because of it. You carry the medicine of the wound. You are the medicine. Most people avoid pain. They numb it, deny it, run from it. But the wounded healer turns toward it, holds it, learns its language, and in doing so becomes fluent in the suffering of others. That's why people open up to you without knowing why. That's why strangers feel safe telling you things they've never told another soul. It's because you carry the frequency of understanding. You've been to the bottom. You've seen the monsters. You've danced with despair and you came back with a torch. But the world doesn't always reward this path. In fact, the wounded healer is often misunderstood, even by other spiritual seekers. You're told to stay positive, to let it go, to focus on the light. But what they don't realize is that your power is the darkness. You don't fear it. You know it. You've mapped its terrain, and now you can guide others through it safely. Not from theory, but from experience. Let me ask you something. What if the very thing you've been trying to heal is actually your gift? What if your pain isn't a flaw, but a portal? What if your sadness holds the blueprint of a deeper calling, one that can't be accessed through comfort or ease, but only through the fire of suffering? The wounded healer doesn't just survive, they serve. But not in a savior complex kind of way. They serve by embodying what is possible. They show others that healing isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. And wholeness includes the wound, the scar, the story. You are not here to erase your past. You are here to wield it. Your sacred calling is to offer sanctuary first to yourself and then to others. But here's the hard truth. You can't offer what you haven't claimed. So your first task is always inward. To sit with your own pain not as an enemy, but as a teacher. To stop trying to fix it and start listening to it. Because pain is a language. And once you learn to speak it, you become a translator for the voiceless. That is your gift. That is your burden. And that is your power. There will be days when you feel like a fraud. When you question whether you've really healed anything at all. But that's part of the path. Healing is not linear. It spirals. It deepens. And every time you revisit a wound, you meet it with more wisdom, more grace, more capacity. That's growth. That's ascension, not away from pain, but deeper into truth. So to the wounded healers, your path is not easy, but it is holy. You are not weak because you feel deeply. You are stronger than most because you stay open when it would be easier to shut down. You are not broken. You are blessed with sensitivity, with insight, with the ability to hold space for others in their darkest hour. And when you walk into a room, people don't just feel seen, they feel safe. That is your light. That is your sacred fire. And the world needs it more than ever. There is a kind of soul that doesn't come to ease the world's pain, but to disrupt the sleep that causes it. These are the chaos bringers, the fourth type of dark chosen ones. They don't ask for permission. They don't fit in. They are the system breakers, the illusion destroyers, the sacred rebels who walk into a room and tear down everything that is false. Not because they want to cause harm, but because they know something the world often forgets. Truth is more important than comfort. If you are one of them, you've probably been called too much your whole life. Too intense, too emotional, too angry, too disruptive. But that too much is exactly what you were born to wield. You didn't come here to play nice. You came here to unmask the lies, to burn away the illusions that keep people small and asleep. And yes, it makes people uncomfortable, but that's the point. Comfort is the enemy of transformation. And you, my friend, are a catalyst. You bring chaos, but it's not random. It's sacred. It's the kind of chaos that breaks open the soul, that shakes people awake from their sleepwalking lives. You see the falseness in systems, in relationships, in spiritual teachings that bypass the real work. You see through the masks people wear, and you won't pretend you don't. You call it what it is, and that is your gift. But it's not an easy calling. It's isolating, because people don't thank you for showing them what they don't want to see. They resist you. They project onto you. They call you difficult or negative. But deep down they feel it. They know you're not here to destroy them, you're here to destroy what's not real. And that is a sacred act. That is holy chaos. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you were born to tear something down, but you didn't know what would rise in its place? That's the edge the chaos bringer lives on. You are not here to build within the old system. You are here to dismantle it completely and trust that something more authentic will emerge. That takes courage. That takes madness. That takes faith. And here's the paradox: your chaos is actually a kind of order, a spiritual order that the ego can't understand. You break what needs to be broken. You speak what no one else dares to say. You challenge what others blindly follow. And in doing so, you create space for truth to be born. Your sacred calling is to disrupt, to provoke, to awaken. Not through violence, but through clarity. Through refusing to lie. Through standing in your truth even when it costs you everything. Because for the chaos bringer, truth is God. And anything less is death. You may never be fully accepted. You may always feel like an outsider. But that's because you are. You didn't come here to belong, you came here to evolve. You are not here to fix the world as it is. You are here to end it and midwife the birth of something entirely new. So don't dim yourself. Don't apologize for your fire. Don't soften your message to make it more palatable. The world doesn't need more politeness, it needs awakening. And you are the storm that can bring it. Not everyone will thank you, but the ones who are ready, they will never forget you. You are not chaos for the sake of destruction. You are chaos for the sake of truth. And that makes you sacred. That makes you necessary. That makes you one of the most powerful of the dark chosen ones. Now the question is, will you claim it?